as you can see, I put all the flux in the joins now, and we're ready to start soldering all the joins. So I'm going to just start at this end. Anyway, I like to heat the pipe up a little bit as well, just before I start the soldering. So I always like a little bit of flux on the actual solder as well. So we're going to just make a start here. You see the pipe up on the underside as well. And it's 22mm pipe, so it'll take a bit more heating than right there. Nice and hot. We've done one join there. See, I more or less used about a good 1.5 centimetres of solder there, and we'll just move on to the next one then. I think it's just best to let it cool down naturally. I've got a cloth to give it a clean later on. But watch it. Oh, there it goes. I've set the fire alarm off. Never mind. We'll switch that off in a sec. Alright, I'll stop. Right, we've sorted the smoke alarm off. So a little tip there, lots of ventilation, otherwise, especially if you're doing this indoors, it's going to cause a lot of trouble. So I've done the one join there, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, and maybe for peace of mind, once I've done them all, I might flip it over and just check that the solders run right round properly. But as long as you've put your flux in there, the solder should be pulled round properly. But and just for double insurance, we'll also pressure test it as well. So we'll be 100% that it's completely watertight and. I think. That was a good example of how well the flux works there. You can see I was putting a bit there and it would get sucked into the join there, so we know we got a really good join there. I'll let that cool down a little bit and I'll just give it a little wipe over with a damp cloth later, because you don't want any flux on there, because if you leave any flux on the join, that's going to eat the metal, that'll eat through the copper eventually. So always make sure it's really nice and clean, and we'll also give the whole inside a flush through with some warm water as well. Okay, I'll get the rest done, and then I'll give you another little look once it's all done. Then it shouldn't take long. There it goes, all disappeared. So that's how important it is, just to make sure you get your solder in there. Just put a little bit more, heat it up, and we know then we've got a good lot of solder in there, right? Right, there's all the joins done. What I think I'll do, I'll just flip it over just to make sure the solders run right round. I'm 99% sure, but there's always that 1%. So give me a sec and I'll just flip it over and I'll have another look at it. Okay, I've just flipped that over and I'm quite happy now, because I can see these great big blobs of solder underneath. It's not very sightly, but that can be the underside. At least it gives me a reassurance that we've got plenty solder in there and it should all be nice and tight. And as you can see, all the solders run right round. They're really nice joins there, where they're nice and neat. Plumbers probably wouldn't like these great big sort of snobs or whatever you want to call them hanging down there, but that'll be the underside, so I'm not too bothered. But at least we know we've got lots of solder in there, so I'm happy with that. Right, moment of truth now. I'm going to pressure test this, check if there's any leaks. Much better if you can do this with air rather than water, because if there is any leaks, it's much easier to repair it if you've done a dry test rather than a wet test. So we've got, what have we got here? We've got about 24 joins altogether. So I'm hoping for 100% success now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug this side in, and we're going to put pressure in that side there. So I'm just putting an ordinary stop end here. If we can get him up, there we go. And then on the other end, I've got a pressure gauge, and it's just going to be connected to the end here, and I've made a little adaptation there just to fit onto the 22mm pipe. So here goes. There we are. And then here we've got a pressure gauge. So I'm going to take that to about 3 bar, and on its operating temperature we probably won't even make 1 bar on here, so it'll be more than an adequate test, that will be. It's quite simple, we just attach a foot pump to that, and hopefully that gauge stays steady. Oh, a bit embarrassing otherwise, but if we've got to make a repair, I can show you how to do that as well then. Bars, isn't it? Yeah. So there we are, we're at 1 bar at the moment, and that is a good indication that needle doesn't seem to be dropping at all, so we'll take it right up to 3 bar. And just to indicate, it's showing the same on the foot pump as well. So we're all there in a minute.
Two bars.
That's what we up to?
2 bars.
2
now.
is it? Right, let's go all the way to 3. That's under quite a lot of pressure. Most heating systems, domestic heating systems, work at not much more than 1.5 bar. So we're doubling what a conventional heating system would work at. So that's under a lot of pressure there.
3 bars.
There we go. And if there was a leak, we'd probably hear it, and if you did see that needle moving down at all, just get a bit of soapy water and go around all the joins and see if there was any leaks.
Good.
I didn't do a good job of pulling the needle out, but that's fine, because if there was any leaks, we'd see that needle dropping, but I can leave it even for a couple of minutes, and you'll see that should stay steady. But especially on something this small, if there was any leaks, that needle will be dropping straight away as well, so I'm very happy with that. And just have a quick look around, Zach, as well, just make sure we're all
fine.
Right, yo.